Welcome to Beyond the Type, the podcast where we explore personality type, communication, and the beautifully messy and sometimes complicated human experience. I'm Sandy Swanson, communication and relationship coach, here to help you better understand yourself and others so you can thrive in all areas of life. Let's get into it. Greetings, everyone. Let's talk Enneagram. So the Enneagram is a personality typing system of 9 distinct types, and this system has been around since the 1960s. And this system can help you answer questions like, why am I so critical of myself? Why don't others appreciate all that I do? Why am I a workaholic, and what's wrong with that? Why am I always sensing that something is missing? Why do I always need to be seen as competent or smart? Why do I always go to worst case scenarios? Why do I avoid sadness or other challenging emotions? Why do people see me as aggressive or angry when I'm just being direct? Why do I find it so hard to say no to others? That last one shows up a lot in my coaching sessions. So perhaps one of these questions has resonated more with you than the others, and I invite you to be curious about that. In the coming episodes of this podcast, I will dive deeper into the 9 types because each of those questions pertain to a certain type. And when used properly, working with the Enneagram can help you answer these questions. It can be a very deep and profound practice that can help you become a healthier version of yourself, both psychologically and spiritually, because it's not just a typing system. It's a map for growth. And while the Enneagram, as I use it in my coaching sessions, as a personality typing system and a map for growth, the Enneagram draws from many older ideas related to human nature and spirituality. So ancient Egypt, classical Greece, Sufism, Judaism, even medieval Christianity, these have all helped shape various parts of the Enneagram, including the symbol. And that's what I want to speak with you about today, the meaning behind the Enneagram symbol. So when I first saw the symbol, and if you don't know what it looks like, you can go to my website and the article area, the blog area at swansoncoaching.com/blog. You can check out the symbol. When I first saw it, I thought it was some sort of satanic, ritualistic thing. It's got a pentagrammy kind of feel to it, but it's not a pentagram, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But the truth is that the symbol of the Enneagram, it represents many things. So on the surface, it's a map. Underneath, there is a lot going on. There's a lot of meaning wrapped up in this symbol, and in this episode, I'll share some of this deeper meaning with you. So let's take a look at this crazy symbol. So if you look at it, you'll see a circle. The circle represents the law of one, or unity and wholeness. In other words, everything belongs, everything is one. So our egos, which usually run the show, our egos tend to think of ourselves as separate from everything else, that we need to work hard to get somewhere or to belong to something. And the truth is, we already belong. We are all one. And believing this truth is part of the work that the Enneagram can help us with. So this work can be very spiritual. And once we understand this concept, that we are all one, we can relax and stop competing and worrying about others and ourselves, for that matter, and what a relief this is. And there's 2 other things that the circle part of the Enneagram symbol remind me of. The first is that we are not just our type. While we lead with one type, and we don't change our type throughout our lifetime, we also have all of the other 8 energies within us, and we have access to those energies at any time. Some more than others. That's where the lines and the little arrows come in. And the second thing the circle reminds me of, and this may be a bit obvious, but the circle of life, that everything flows into everything else, and the cycle repeats over and over again. And we'll talk more about that when we get to the third part of the symbol. But first, second part of the symbol. The second part is the triangle. So if you look at the Enneagram symbol, you'll see the numbers 3, 6, and 9 are connected. They form a neat equilateral triangle. So this triangle represents the law of three. If you think about politics as an example, there are usually two sides to an issue. I mean, really, there's not. There's a lot of gray, but many people don't see gray in political issues. Don't get me started. Politics can be very polarizing, very black and white, very either or. I'm recording this in 2025. There's a lot of turmoil going on politically. So the law of three invites us to consider that there is a third way that considers both sides. This third way can also be thought of as a reconciling or joining force, which brings the two sides to a higher level. So just a little sidebar here. So if you look at the symbol, there's those points 3, 6, and 9 on this triangle. Type 3, which is on the right side of the triangle, this energy is very forward moving. So type 3s say, let's go, let's do this. 3s are all about goals, all about action. Type 6, which is on the left side of the triangle, this energy is very cautious. So type 6s say, wait, what if this happens? Hold on, what about this? Did we think through this? It's a very heady, very cautious energy. And then there's type 9, which is at the top of the triangle. And type 9 has a very harmonizing energy. This energy has the potential to see both sides of a situation. And people who lead with this point, with this energy, can indeed be great mediators. There's a reason why this type is sometimes called the peacemaker. And I'll be getting into the details of each of the 9 types in a future episode. And since we have all 9 energies within us, we all have the potential to be polarized or to be reconciling. This energy doesn't just apply to the points 3, 6, and 9, which make up the triangle. So, okay, enough about the triangle. Isn't geometry fun? Geometry's fun. All right. The third part of the symbol is that 6-pointed figure. It's not a pentagon. It's not Satan. It's a 6-pointed figure, which is created by the remaining numbers. So the shape contains the sequence of the types 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7, and then back to 1. So 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7, 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7. So it just kind of goes on and continues. And this represents the law of 7. And this law has a lot of meanings. It can be one big rabbit hole, which I will not go down here. But when it comes to the Enneagram, I like the idea that we go through this sequence when something happens in our life. Could be anything. And ideally, we use this law, this sequence consciously, not unconsciously. So here's what it might look like in action. So say something has happened to you. Every time this happens, you could react consciously or unconsciously. Regardless of the way we react, there's a flow to our response. So each step along the way relates to how that Enneagram type's energy might respond in a healthy or unhealthy manner. Remember, we have all 9 energies within us. So let's go through these points, and I'll give a healthy response and an unhealthy response. And I invite you, the listener, to see if any of this sounds familiar. So again, say something has happened to upset you. You could respond in these ways. So we're going through these points. Point 1, regardless of whatever has happened, remain flexible. Or, in an unhealthy manner, stay rigid and become resentful. Point 4, fully feel what has happened, or want another experience instead of the one that's happening. Point 2, honor and care for yourself, or ignore your needs and focus on someone else. Point 8, let go of the need for retaliation or respond with anger. Point 5, engage with others to move forward or retreat and shut out the world. Point 7, be fully present and open to what the situation may bring, even if it is challenging, or distract yourself with positive things. And then we're back to point 1, regardless of whatever has happened, be flexible or stay rigid and become resentful. And we can get stuck at any of these points. And the lesson of the law of 7 is to keep moving, to keep flowing through life. So it is wash, rinse, repeat with the law of 7. Okay, that was a lot. I'm curious. I'm curious, what are your thoughts and feelings about the Enneagram symbol? So do you find that you flow through life, or do you get stuck? Do you feel like you belong as the circle invites us to be? Or are you always looking outside of yourself to be whole? And are you able to see shades of gray in any situation? Or do you lean towards black and white thinking? And one final thought, I'll leave you with this. So the Enneagram as a personality typing system, I think is pretty special because of this symbol. It's the only system that really shows you visually everything you need to know just in its symbol. So that's what all those lines and arrows are for. Those are the growth paths for each type, and I'll speak more to those in upcoming episodes, so stay tuned. Well, I hope this was helpful for you, and remember, the first step in using this beautiful map, this symbol, is to find your type. So to help you with this important step, I offer Enneagram typing interviews, and I'll leave information about those in the show notes. In the meantime, I'd love it if you shared this episode with someone who wants to learn more about the Enneagram, or maybe someone who's new to the Enneagram. Symbol is a great place to start. Until next time, stay curious, my friend.